Hey y'all, welcome back to the Book Stamp. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite things, used books. So today I'm going to be doing the used book tag, which I saw Bookmarks and Breadsticks do, and I knew that was something that I wanted to do because I think probably half of my library is used books. If you include textbooks in that, it's a lot higher. So I'm really excited to be doing these questions today. So let's get started. So the first question in the tag is, do you buy secondhand books? And the short answer is yes. Yes, I do. I love buying used books, especially as someone who's a student. That's like really all that's in my budget a lot of times. And you can find so many great gems. So I love buying used books. What is my latest purchase? So my latest purchase actually is still in the mail. I bought 2 new books from Union Avenue Bookstore in Knoxville, Tennessee for Indie Book Day, but they have not arrived yet. So instead, we can talk about sort of my last big book haul that I did at used books, which is at McKay's bookstore. I went to the Chattanooga, Tennessee location, been going there like literally my entire life. Love it. I picked up so many great books. So like these are just like 3 examples of books that I got. I think I probably bought 30 books literally, and it was like $30. I went there to sell a lot of my stuff. So I just moved and I had a lot of just really extra media stuff like CDs and DVDs that I really don't use anymore. So I went to sell that, and while I was waiting for them to price my books, of course I went to find a bunch of new ones. So I mean, I bought so many. I will be doing a quarantine book haul fairly soon, and that will incorporate all of the books I bought there. We're not going to take 20 minutes out of this video to do that today. So the third question is, what condition do you find acceptable? And I'm really not picky at all. So I picked up this copy of Our Town the last time I was in McKay's. It was literally 10 cents. So a lot of times they have books for varying prices depending on the condition, and I go for the cheapest one usually. And so the pages are definitely very yellow. It's definitely an older condition book. I think the copyright date is like 1950 for like this publication. But I really love having older copies of books, and I really love getting copies that were clearly somebody's for English class. Like they had to annotate because I just find it so interesting. So that's one thing that I really don't mind, as long as the book is like readable. But also you can find like totally new copies. I got this copy of The Vanishing Half by Brett Bennett. Amazing book, 10 out of 10. And that was like the beginning of June when I literally could not find this book online. Like Amazon was sold out. So I actually found this copy for like $13 and it was awesome. There's like all sorts of gems you can find. The next question is, after you finish a book, do you usually keep or get rid of it? And for me, I would say I probably usually keep for at least a couple of years, and then sort of I cycle through and will get rid of a lot of my older ones. The exception to this is I do like to keep most of my classics just to have a copy of, but I do kind of get rid of a lot of YA fantasy that's older, or a lot of times I'll pick up a YA book that's like $1 at McKay's because I just wanted like nice easy read, but it's never something I'm really going to pick back up, and so I donate those. I usually actually take them back to McKay's to sell and then buy more, so they really got me there. The favorite place you like to go, if you haven't already figured it out from this video, it is McKay's Books, which they are amazing. I love it so much. It's like this huge warehouse. The downstairs is always all books, but they also have like used games and used video games and used movies, CDs, records, like all sorts of like gaming equipment and electronic equipment. And I really, really love it. I've been going there since I was a kid, and it's just one of those places that I really love. I typically go to the one in Chattanooga, but there's also one in Nashville and Knoxville, Tennessee as well. So if you're in those cities, definitely give it a check out. Go during a weekday at a weird time, especially with COVID right now, so that it's not super crowded. Hardback or paperback? I really prefer a good paperback book. I think most of my books in my library are paperback because 9 times out of 10, that book is going in a backpack, it's going in a suitcase, I'm taking it with me to read somewhere, and it's just so much easier if it's paperback. I do have a lot of hardcovers that are like new releases that I wanted to read immediately. If a book has been out for a while, I'm gonna buy a paperback cover because 1, it's cheaper, and 2, is lighter. The last question in the used book tag is, have you found any real gems? And the answer to that is 100% yes. I found so many cool gems, especially at like finding just like weird stuff that you never would think you would find. So one of my favorites that I've gotten is this like classic library like faux leather copy of Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I actually got this for one of my college like British literature classes. I actually have a Jane Austen book tag in here as well, which I think is really funny. But just one of my favorite books and stories, and so I have this really beautiful edition of it that I got at McKay's. The other amazing book that I didn't find this in McKay's, my sister did, and she got it for me for Christmas or my birthday. I can't remember, a couple years ago. It actually has like the library cover on it, but most importantly, it is actually signed by Nichelle Nichols, which is just so cool. It's not to me, but like, is Nichelle Nichols, like how amazing is that? So yeah, so this is one of my prized treasures. I love Star Trek so much, and Nichelle Nichols was like such a hugely important part of the original Star Trek series and what it really did for culture in America. So this is definitely a treasured possession. That's really it for our used book tag today. So thank y'all so much for watching my booktube channel. I really appreciate it so much. I'm just getting started, but I'm having such a good time. So thanks so much for all of your support. Bye.